Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. My name is Cliff. I've been doing a series called 99 Problems, but my God ain't one. In that series, I've been counting down from the 99th issue all the way up to the number one reason why we are in this mess as human beings. And this video, I'm not going to put in that list. Okay. This video sort of attaches itself to one that I will put in the list, number 42. That will be called Truly Sick. But this video I'm going to call The Ugly Painting. This story was given to me from one of my co-workers or another missioner who works alongside me in telling a youth group about the message of God, the salvation of Christ. He brought in this story one day, and like I said, I hope I do him justice. His name is Johnson. So I hope I do Johnson justice by telling his story that he brought in. There is this man. He's an art collector. A man who's very faithful, loves God with all his heart. But he's a lavished, well-known art collector around the world. People will say his name in the art industry and they'll know exactly who you're talking about. And his paintings, his real art collection, where it fits in the well-known dealers. This gentleman had a son, and his son decided to go off and fight in the war in a stage of his life. During the war, his son noticed that things weren't going good for his platoon, and he decided, he made a little time, he was able to make a little time and make a portrait of himself and send it back to his father. His father got the painting of his son, and he was instantly in awe of it. Truly, it wasn't really good painting, but he was in awe of it because it was his son who did it, and it was of his son. So he took it and put it in his most prized spot in the house, where he would see it all the time. A few weeks went on and his son passed away. The man was very distraught by his passing of his son. So now there was only him and his maid. The gentleman would live a few more years, nearly 10 years, and then he would pass away as well. The gentleman wanted to have his paintings all auctioned off, and his house he was going to give away to his maid, who now had nothing except the house. It was an enormous house. I don't want to make it sound like it was a little thing. She was shocked at the gift. She didn't know how she was going to pay for it, but she was extremely surprised at his kindness as she saw it. So the gentleman would leave the rest of his prizes in an auction, and this is the paintings that I'm talking about. He gave specific instructions to his lawyer about this part of his will. He says he wants all the paintings sold at an auction, and in that auction, he's got a few rules to go by. He said to his lawyer, he has to tell the auctioneer that all the paintings are to sell that one day at the auction. And the one thing that he must do, he must sell the first painting to be the painting of his son. The first painting must be the painting of his son, and then he can sell the rest of the paintings. And then the day of the auction came. All the most lavish art collectors and the richest people in the world came to sit down at this auction. There must have been nearly 200 people sitting right there, the richest people looking and waiting to buy what they came to buy. So the auctioneer starts the bidding, and the first thing he has to do is sell the painting of the gentleman's son. And looking at the painting, everybody knows that his son is not a painter, and looking at the painting, they just looked, basically. And no one would put up their hand to bid for the painting. The auctioneer said, okay, how about $1,000? Anybody would take this painting for $1,000? Nobody wanted to put up their hands. And so he came down. Okay, we all know that this painting's not a real artist who made this painting, but it was the man's son who he loved dearly, who would take this painting for $100, and no one still didn't want to put up their hands. The auctioneer came down all the way down to $10, and no one still didn't want the painting because they, I guess, felt they would throw it in the garbage. The maid that was there at the auction knew how much the man of the house loved his son's painting. And even though she had no money, decided to purchase the painting for only $10. So she took the painting, and then after the auctioneer said, okay, the painting is sold, and he announced, this auction is now concluded. And everybody was in awe and shock. What's going on? What do you mean this auction is concluded? I thought all the paintings were going to go. And the auctioneer said, yes, the auction is over. These are the instructions of the gentleman that owned all these paintings. He said, well, and everybody started screaming out, why? So what's going to happen? What happened? What happens to all the paintings? He said what the lawyer had given him the instructions. He said to the crowd, all these paintings have just gone to the person who bought the first painting, because the instructions were to everybody. Whoever buys this painting, it was by secret. It's just like he says, the owner of the painting says, just like Christ. Christ is a free gift that is offered to you. Like this painting that you didn't want was offered to you at nearly, for you guys, it would be considered for free. And you would not accept the gift of the price. You see, the offer and the gift of God is more than everything that you have witnessed here in my possession that I was offering to you freely if you just would take my son's gift, the gift of my son, the Father and the Son. But you did not want to be given the free gift, just like you do not want to be given the gift of Christ. So that is the parable or the story. I hope like I said, I hope I've done Johnson well in telling it in my version. And I hope you can understand the parable, how it connects. You see, Christ, the gift of Christ is free. Only you have to see it. See the majesty in it all to understand how great this gift is. Like similar to the lady getting all the riches the man had. But the real riches is Christ Jesus. I hope you get it.